Nobody expected the semifinal to become one of the biggest stories of the entire Mubadala DC Open. On one side stands Alexandra Eala, the fearless Filipina rising star, who continues to shock the tennis world with every match she plays. On the other side is Naomi Osaka, one of the sport's biggest global icons and a multiple-time Grand Slam champion, who has once again found her rhythm on hard courts. Now, these two stars are set to collide in Washington in a matchup that has captured attention across Asia and beyond after both advanced to the semifinals. For fans in the Philippines, this feels like another historic opportunity for Eala to prove that she belongs among the game's elite. Every victory during this tournament has added another chapter to her remarkable rise, and now she finds herself just one win away from a WTA 500 final. But across Japan, the anticipation carries a different emotion. Naomi Osaka is not simply another opponent. She represents one of the greatest players of her generation, a former world number one whose powerful game and championship experience have made her one of the biggest names in women's tennis. Every time she steps onto a hard court, expectations follow her. And now, standing across the net will be one of the hottest young talents on the tour. This is more than a semifinal. It's experience versus momentum. It's proven greatness against fearless ambition. It's a meeting between two players who have inspired millions throughout Asia in very different ways. The excitement surrounding this matchup has only continued to grow after Osaka welcomed the opportunity to face Eala, while Eala herself described the Japanese star as amazing and expressed her excitement about sharing the court with one of tennis' biggest names. That mutual respect makes this contest even more fascinating. Neither player enters this match carrying personal history against the other. Instead, both arrive with confidence built from outstanding performances throughout the week. Eala earned her place in the semifinals after another statement victory, continuing what has become one of the most impressive runs of her young career. Osaka, meanwhile, survived a demanding three-set quarterfinal that reminded everyone why she remains one of the toughest competitors when the pressure reaches its highest point. So what happens when relentless confidence meets championship experience? Can Eala continue the magical run that has thrilled Filipino fans around the world? Or will Osaka remind everyone why she's been one of the defining players of this generation? The answers won't simply determine who reaches the final. They could reveal just how close Alexandra Eala is to becoming one of the sport's next true superstars. And that's only the beginning. Because once we break down how both players reach this stage, several fascinating tactical battles begin to emerge. Details that could decide one of the biggest matches of the tournament. The road to the semifinal has been anything but ordinary for either player. For Alexandra Eala, the Mubadala DC Open has become another opportunity to prove that her recent rise is no coincidence. Every match has demanded composure, discipline, and the belief that she belongs on the same court as some of the biggest names in women's tennis. Rather than being overwhelmed by the occasion, Eala has embraced it. One of the most noticeable improvements in her game throughout the tournament has been her confidence from the baseline. Instead of simply reacting to her opponents, she has consistently looked to dictate rallies. Her aggressive left-handed forehand has created difficult angles, forcing opponents out of position before she finishes points with remarkable composure. Just as importantly, she has shown patience when rallies become physical, resisting the temptation to rush shots under pressure. That balance between aggression and control has become one of the defining characteristics of her game. It is a significant step forward for a player who continues to mature with every tournament she enters. However, the semifinal presents an entirely different challenge. Naomi Osaka is not an opponent who allows many opportunities once she finds her rhythm. Throughout her career, Osaka has built her reputation on one of the most powerful first serves in women's tennis. When that serve is landing consistently, she immediately takes control of points, placing enormous pressure on her opponents to respond. But her game extends far beyond serving. Her explosive ground strokes, particularly from the forehand wing, allow her to seize control of rallies within just a few shots. She thrives on hard courts because the surface rewards her ability to hit through the court with exceptional pace. That combination has carried her to some of the biggest titles in tennis. Yet this week has also demonstrated another important quality. Osaka has shown resilience. Her quarterfinal required her to fight through difficult moments before eventually securing her place in the semifinals. Instead of becoming frustrated when momentum shifted, she remained calm and trusted her experience to guide her through the toughest stretches of the match. That ability to manage pressure is one of the defining differences between champions and rising stars. For Eala, this match will likely come down to one critical objective. She cannot allow Osaka to dictate the pace from the very first ball. If Osaka consistently lands a high percentage of first serves, Eala could spend much of the afternoon defending rather than attacking. That would force the Filipina into long stretches of pressure, something very few players manage successfully against Osaka on hard courts. Instead, Eala will likely aim to extend rallies whenever possible. Her movement around the court has been one of the strongest aspects of her tournament. She has covered the baseline exceptionally well, turning defense into offense with increasing confidence. Those longer exchanges could become one of her greatest weapons. Why? Because while Osaka possesses extraordinary power, extended rallies can test timing, consistency, and patience. If Eala can absorb that early pace and gradually shift control of points, the dynamic of the match could change dramatically. Another fascinating element will be the mental battle. Playing against a former world number one can be intimidating. Many young players step onto court already believing they are underdogs. Eala, however, has shown little evidence of that mindset during this tournament. Instead, she has approached every challenge with quiet confidence. Rather than focusing on rankings or reputations, she has concentrated on executing her own game plan one point at a time. That mentality has earned praise from analysts who believe her maturity now exceeds what many expected at this stage of her career. Meanwhile, Osaka enters with a different kind of pressure. As a more experienced player and one of the tournament favorites, expectations naturally rest on her shoulders. Every crowd expects brilliance. Every opponent raises their level. Every match becomes another reminder of her championship pedigree. Managing those expectations is never easy, even for a player with multiple Grand Slam trophies. This is why semifinal matches often become less about talent alone and more about decision-making under pressure. Who serves better on the biggest points? Who remains calm after losing a difficult game? Who adjusts tactically when momentum suddenly changes? Those questions often separate victory from defeat. And when two players with completely different journeys arrive at the same stage of a tournament, the answers become even more compelling. Because beneath the headlines lies an even deeper story, one that goes beyond the single semifinal and could shape the future trajectory of Alexandra Eala's career. As exciting as the semifinal is on paper, the bigger story may be what it represents for Alexandra Eala's career. For years, tennis experts have viewed Eala as one of the brightest young talents to emerge from the Philippines. Her junior achievements earned international attention, but everyone understood that the transition from junior success to professional tour would be the true test. That transition is never easy. The professional game demands far more than talent. It requires consistency, physical endurance, emotional maturity, and the ability to recover quickly after both victories and defeats. Many promising juniors struggle to make that leap. Eala appears to be proving that she belongs. One of the clearest signs of her development is the way she approaches big matches. Earlier in her career, simply facing an established champion would have been considered valuable experience. Now, those matches are becoming genuine opportunities to compete and to win. That subtle shift changes everything. Instead of asking whether she can keep up with elite players, the conversation is gradually becoming whether elite players should be concerned about drawing Alexandra Eala in major tournaments. That's a remarkable transformation. However, this semifinal offers perhaps the biggest measuring stick yet. Naomi Osaka brings qualities that very few players possess. Her ability to raise her level in pressure moments has been a defining feature of her career. Even when matches become tense, she has repeatedly demonstrated the composure needed to execute aggressive shots without hesitation. That confidence comes from years of competing on the sport's biggest stages. Eala is still building that experience. But sometimes youth offers an advantage of its own. Young players often compete with a sense of freedom. They have less to defend and everything to gain. Without the burden of expectation, they can take calculated risks that more established stars might avoid. Could that mindset become Eala's biggest weapon? It's certainly possible. Another fascinating tactical element involves shot selection. Against powerful hitters like Osaka, many opponents attempt to match power with power. That approach rarely succeeds. Instead, Eala may benefit from varying the pace, using her left-handed angles, mixing in higher topspin, and changing court positioning to disrupt Osaka's rhythm. If rallies become predictable, Osaka's clean ball striking could quickly take over. But if Eala introduces variety, different spins, changing depth, and occasional surprise net approaches, she could force Osaka to make adjustments she would rather avoid. Then there is the physical side of contest. Semifinals often come after several demanding matches, and recovery becomes just as important as preparation. Fresh legs can make the difference in long baseline exchanges, especially on hard courts where every explosive movement takes its toll. Whichever player manages her energy more effectively could hold the advantage if the match extends into a deciding set. The crowd may also play a subtle role. Washington has embraced compelling underdog stories before, and Eala's run has attracted growing attention from tennis fans who appreciate fearless young talent. At the same time, Osaka's popularity ensures she will have strong support as one of the sport's biggest global stars. That atmosphere should create an electric setting. Yet, perhaps the most important lesson from this tournament has nothing to do with rankings or headlines. It is about belief. Every deep tournament run teaches a young player that success at the highest level is not a dream. It is achievable. Whether Eala wins the semifinal or not, competing toe-to-toe with a champion like Osaka provides invaluable experience that cannot be replicated in practice sessions. These are the moments that accelerate careers. These are the matches that reveal weaknesses, strengthen confidence, and prepare players for even greater stages. And if Eala can continue building on what she has shown throughout this week, the future could be incredibly bright. Still, one final question remains unanswered. What would a victory here mean? Not only for Alexandra Eala, but for Philippine tennis, Asian tennis, and the broader landscape of the WTA Tour. That bigger picture is where the story becomes truly unforgettable. When the first ball is struck in the semifinal, the result will determine who advances to the championship match. But in many ways, the impact of this contest reaches far beyond a single tournament. For Alexandra Eala, this is another chance to show that her rise is built on sustained improvement rather than one memorable week. Every deep run against high-level competition strengthens her reputation and gives her valuable experience against the very players she hopes to challenge regularly in the years ahead. That is how careers are built, not through one upset, not through one headline, but through consistently proving that you can compete with the very best. If Eala delivers another composed performance against Naomi Osaka, it will reinforce the belief that she belongs among the WTA Tour's rising contenders. Even if the outcome doesn't go her way, matching one of the game's most accomplished champions point for point will be another important milestone in her development. For Osaka, the stakes are different. Champions are judged by results. Every tournament presents another opportunity to remind the tennis world why they have reached the top before. A victory would send her into another WTA final and demonstrate that she continues to be one of the most dangerous players on hard courts. That is why the semifinal is so compelling. Both players have something significant to gain. One is looking to continue an inspiring breakthrough. The other is determined to add another chapter to an already remarkable career, beyond the individual stories. This match also highlights the growing influence of Asian tennis on the global stage. Naomi Osaka has inspired millions through her achievements, becoming one of the most recognizable athletes in the world. Alexandra Eala is now inspiring a new generation of Filipino players who dream of following a similar path. Their meeting is a reminder of how the sport continues to evolve, with new stars emerging while established champions continue to set the standard. Fans around the world will be watching for different reasons. Some will be cheering for Osaka's experience and championship pedigree. Others will be hoping Eala can produce another unforgettable performance and continue one of the most exciting runs of the tournament. Whatever happens, the semifinal promises high-quality tennis, emotional moments, and a fascinating clash of styles. Will Osaka's experience prove decisive when the pressure reaches its peak? Or will Eala's fearless approach create another breakthrough moment in her young career? Only the match itself can answer those questions. One thing, however, is already certain. Alexandra Eala has become one of the most talked about young players in women's tennis, and every tournament she enters now carries a new level of expectation that is a testament to her hard work, her resilience, and her willingness to embrace the biggest challenges. As fans, we're witnessing a journey that is still being written. Whether this semifinal becomes another defining victory or simply another valuable step forward, it is part of a much larger story, one that could shape the future of Philippine tennis for years to come. So don't miss this blockbuster showdown between Alexandra Eala and Naomi Osaka. It's more than a place in the final that's on the line. It's a chance to witness two outstanding competitors from different stages of their careers, meeting on one of the biggest stages of the week. If you enjoyed this breakdown, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest updates, match analysis, and exclusive stories from the world of tennis. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.